Amjad Shawa. He's the director of the Palestinian NGO Network. Good to have you with us. So, Amjad, let me ask you this. Has this fragile ceasefire ended the suffering in Gaza?
Thank you. You know, the ceasefire, the best thing happened, which is stop the daily killing that we witnessed with the huge number of Palestinians who used to be killed daily. But what we witnessed that every day after the ceasefire, we have finding the horror situation of the Gaza Strip due to the Israeli destruction of the homes, of the infrastructure, of the facilities, also the continuous blockade in Gaza, on the time also that Israel still control more than 50% of the Gaza Strip distance. Still 1.5 million who are lost their homes, still displaced in different areas, facing the biggest challenges. 90% of the population depend totally on humanitarian aid, whilst very limited amounts of aid is getting in with specific items, which not increased till now, whilst also the unexploded devices, there are still thousands of bodies of the martyrs who are under the rubbles. We cannot pick them. Still the health facilities destroyed, and the entry of the health aid, medical aid to Gaza is very limited, only 10% of the need. So it's very critical moments. Although that we have ceasefire, but the humanitarian conditions, it's deteriorated day by day due to the Israeli continuous blockade, closing the most of the Gaza crossings. 4 of the Gaza crossings still closed as Rafah crossing for individuals, for patients, for injured people who are critically need for medical evacuation. Every day we're losing lives of these. In the same time, we have 3 crossings with Gaza North. It's closed totally. Only 2 crossings which are operating with very limited capacity with intentional, deliberate suffocation.
Let me ask you this, because you said very little aid is getting through. The Israeli narrative on this, the Israeli line is that they're saying they're living up to their commitment under this agreement to allow aid trucks in, they say. If not enough is coming through, they're saying, well, Hamas must be stealing it. You speak to international organizations and they say they haven't seen wide-scale evidence of that. The UN has a different narrative on this. It says 107 of its aid requests since the ceasefire began have been refused by Israel. Tell us from your perspective as an NGO on the ground, what do you see is hampering the entry of aid?
Gaza need daily, week, in the calculation, we need more than 1,000 trucks a day of a humanitarian aid. So the misleading point that the Israel is using, that they are getting in commercial truck with the humanitarian aid. So the calculations here, it's misleading. What is entered from the humanitarian aid agencies, it's about 180 to 200 daily. About 80 to 90, it's a flour for bakeries. So we cannot consider what the Israelis are saying. On the ground, I can see that 90% dependent on humanitarian aid, they lost their incomes. So the commercial items, they cannot buy it. They have no capacity. So they're totally dependent on our community kitchens, on our bakeries, in our clinics, in our services that we are delivering to them. So intentionally, Israelis want to show the numbers, but what is behind the numbers is completely different stories. And with the numbers also, they didn't get the 600 trucks that agreed on the humanitarian protocol with under the ceasefire agreement. So the case here that we have, I'm not getting to the calculations, I'm getting to the items. Till now, we have just a few thousands of tents which get in. On time, we are in need for 300,000 tents. Till now, there is no bulldozers to open the roads in order to level the lands, to help on picking the bodies of the Palestinians. Also, for the health, only 10% of needs get in. Very limited number who medical evacuated of the Palestinians on time. That water facility is still destroyed. Israelis deny the entry of the basic materials and supplies in order to rehabilitate the water networks and water wells.
Amjad, how much more desperate are things going to get as winter approaches? Do people have sufficient winter items like heating, winter clothes, shelter for winter conditions?
It's only a few days, I'm sorry to say that. I could witness thousands of families who are on the Gaza beach, on very low areas, and that also some people who are staying under the part of the rubbles of their homes, which could be collapsed, as happened in the last few days, in the first rain days, that we can witness also the flooding of the Sheikh Ridwan solid waste lagoon, which will have catastrophic consequences. At the same time, these tents, which is damaged, cannot bear, cannot protect the families who are staying under. On time, there is no winter clothes, there are no mattresses, no blankets, nothing but we can offer. It will be catastrophic, with full meaning within the catastrophe that we are living in. It's urgently, who can ever do anything on that regard in order to help, to assist, to pressure the Israelis to leave the blockade, to lift the blockade, to enter the needs and supplies. UNRWA have 6,000 trucks loads of aid supplies, clothes, mattresses, blankets, everything that they get in. The INGOs, the states of INGOs are denied to get in their supplies to Gaza Strip. We are in need for single item of these on time. Our children who are malnutrition, very weak positions, also the pregnant women, these elders who lost their chronic medicines on the clinics. It's very critical moments that we are passing through, although that we have ceasefire, but still the humanitarian conditions is very critical.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much. Amjad Shawa there, director of the Palestinian NGO Network.
Thank you.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.